Hi and welcome back to the channel. I've been so eager and excited to get back to you in here, so I'm very happy that I'm finally having time to do this recording. During the break we have had summer holidays, which means rest and a lot of family time, so that's why I haven't been so active on the channel for a while. But now we're back on school schedules and old routines. So I think I'm going to get back here a little bit more now. So I'm happy for that. And I hope you look forward to it as much as I do. The last couple of weeks I have had quite a lot of subjects on my heart that I want to address here on the channel. But today I want to talk about raising daughters. I think this is a subject that we don't talk so much about, just raising children generally. But I think there's a special way to approach both raising daughters and raising young boys. So today I want to focus on the daughters. You know, from a young age, both boys and girls get the question, what do you want to do when you get older? What do you want to become when you're an adult? And at least here in Sweden, the pressure of becoming something and having this question hanging over you throughout your whole childhood is very high. The pressure of becoming someone is very high, at least here. For example, being a mother is not as accepted as a work, at least here. I think it's maybe common in other countries too, but especially here. And being a mother doesn't give you kind of a status, and sometimes you're even looked down to because you are just a mother. And probably you're also uneducated, you know, all those pre-assumptions that people have. But I want to truly focus on the good things of being a mother, of being a wife, and actually teaching our daughters that that is a good work. It is something that is very good to aim for when you grow up. So, if we want to teach our daughters to be mothers who takes care of the home, who takes care of the children, and also, of course, on a biblical foundation, how will we do that? How can we teach our daughters to prioritize family, to prioritize God and marriage before all of this worldly education and work that doesn't give you anything in the long term? It might give you some highs because you get a paycheck and everything, but it doesn't bring you that true joy, I actually think. And back to the question, how can we teach our daughters that? Well, the easy but hard answer is we have to live it and teach them from a young age. No matter how, we need to bring value to the idea of motherhood and homemaking, and that's from the start. And I know I usually talk a lot about teaching children from a young age, but it is biblical and it is so important that we start when the children are so young. And this is not an exception from that. So my first point that I want to address is language. How you talk with your daughter is very important. From a very young age, you can talk with your daughters in a future mindset, even if they are very, very young. And I will give an example. If you talk about a future boyfriend, that your daughter will find a good boyfriend, that she can finally marry and everything, instead of using that kind of language, talk about your future husband to your daughter. Like, when you have a husband, when you get married, so that you use the language that will teach them what is worth prioritizing and what is a good thing to prioritize, what is right. So don't use language in a way that the world does, that focus on what they want to become in the workforce, but talk more about what home they want, how many children they want, and so on. Our words can make a huge difference, so choose your words wisely and use your language to teach them what is valuable in God's eyes. That you have a husband, maybe not a boyfriend, that you talk about your future home, how they want to have it, so they start to long for that kind of life, instead of, oh, I want to work with that, I want to study that, and so on. I think you get my point. And the second point I want to talk about is the environment. If you have your children in daycare, for example, until the day that school starts, that will have an effect on your daughter, whether you want it or not. I'm sorry to say this, but it is true. Sure, your daughter can grow up having the same excitement for motherhood and family life as you, with the same biblical beliefs, but I actually think it's kind of playing Russian roulette with your child and her future, because you never know how it will end up. But if they instead grow up in the home, that will feel more natural, and you're able to teach more about homemaking from a young age, that they are included in the home and what it is to be a mother, that they can help with everything in the home, because they can just follow along and learn by doing. So that is very important, that your daughters will have a good environment. And to kind of continue in that area, role models are also so important. That the people that are surrounding your daughters, who are they? Do they have a good influence or not? What friends and other women role models that your daughters have is so important. And it's even more important to be an example yourself on how a woman, wife, and a mother should be. Because if they don't have anyone good to kind of see during their childhood, they will be confused maybe, or having a hard time knowing what is good. So role models, make sure that your daughters are surrounded by good ones. And one just a little quick point I want to make also is about looks. Vanity, vanity, vanity. This world today is so full of vanity, and it is really clinging to our daughters, how they should look, how beautiful they are supposed to be, how long nails they should have, and so on. But we need to teach our daughters that this kind of vanity search is a waste of time. It's so much better to teach your daughters to value what God gave them and how God created them to be. That they can embrace the beauty that God has put in them without any external influences, that they are beautiful the way they are, so they can feel secure in themselves. Because not all girls are secure in themselves, but we need to really teach them that you are beautiful. You don't have to have makeup to change your appearance. You don't have to wear tight, beautiful clothes to get noticed, because that's not why we dress. We dress to dress our body so no one will see our body parts. So try to teach your children, your daughters, that how God created you is perfect, and we have to honor God in his creation. So even from a young age there, try to encourage them that their natural beauty is enough. And another point I want to make is that the world today is so focused on educated women who is self-sufficient. They can make a living by themselves. They have their own salary, they have their own little economy bubble, and they can stand on their own legs. But is this really the way that we want to show our daughters? You know, when they eventually will get married, they will have a unit with their husband. Even if they have their own money, it should be the family's money. I don't say that it's wrong to maybe work a bit before they get married, to have like a little buffer to when they are starting a family, but it should not be the focus. Because actually what we're doing when we are pushing our daughters into the education system, they have to go to university, they have to become something. What we are doing is actually pushing them into the adult life that might start in debt and in stress. Because if they study a lot, maybe they take loans, and then they will start their adult life trying to get that money back and to repay that loans. And that's not a good starting point if you want to have a family, because then you have to work and then you cannot take care of the family in the way that you are supposed to. And I know that this subject is so hard to talk about because we are so indoctrinated with education that we have to make a good start for our daughters as well. They have to have the same conditions as the men. But I think we have lost a lot during the years with the generation shifts and everything, that our daughters are not raised to become mothers, to become women, to become wives, to be keepers of the home that the Bible actually talks about. God wants women to have their role in the family, and that is good for them, and it will be a blessing for them in that area, in that season of their life. So what I want to encourage you in this aspect with work and everything, if you are able as parents to provide for your daughters until they find a husband, do that. That's probably the best thing that you can do for them. And I don't say that all education is bad, but there are more important things in life for women of God than work and education and having a big paycheck every month. So if you have this opportunity to have your daughters at home until they are ready to have their own family and their own marriage and everything, I think that's a very good education place for your daughters to be in, that they can learn how to take care of a house, to take care of their husbands. You know, in Titus 2, there it says that the older women should teach the younger women how to live and how to be this good woman. So I encourage you to go and read Titus 2 about that. I have talked about it before, but it's worth reading again. But that is where our focus should be when our girls are getting old enough to learn all this stuff. We have to actually take the step and teach them. And what is the best way other than living it? I think when we live it, we learn so much faster. So if you have the possibility to have your daughters at home until the day that they are ready to leave their mother and father to go into another unit, do that. I think it will be so very blessed. With all of that said, and I could say so much more around all of these things, but I think I have to end now because, life, maybe I can address it more in another video, but I really want to encourage you to embrace that role that God has given you as a mother to your daughters, to really teach them being a wife, a mother, and a homemaker. And that there's no shame in it, that it is truly a blessed place to be in. And the Lord sees your work, and it will be rewarded. So even if the whole world teaches you that being a mother and a wife and a homemaker isn't a work, God thinks it is. And it's only Him that we should be accountable to. And by doing all of this, being a mother and a wife and a homemaker, we're sacrificing oneself to raise new workers in God's kingdom. And it's such an amazing work. So please, sisters out there, trust that the Lord is with you and He will guide you through every step of the way to raise godly daughters that will bring the heritage of motherhood to the next generation. So thank you for listening today. I really long to make more videos, and hopefully this message could be kind of clear. Otherwise, let me know in the comments if there's anything more you want me to address in this area. But yeah, I just want to start some thoughts to you. So see you soon again. Be blessed, and thank you once again for listening. Have a wonderful day. Bye.